Greetings, Bill here. I'm going to do a shave video today with a particular topic in mind. Those of you who have not found me over at the Shaving Cadre would not necessarily know about this technique that I want to try with a Shavette. I've done it with a straight razor, and I like the result of it. It is a technique that is the signature move of one of the owners of the Shaving Cadre, Barber Dave. And when I first saw that, I took an immediate interest and an immediate liking to it, and I want to kind of give an illustration of why it rung with me is to be something that was like had a lot of potential. I am in my profession has been in the many areas of the printing business. I'm still in it, and I currently run a piece of equipment that does specialty label manufacturing. These are like little pressure sensitive labels, okay? And there's nothing on here. This right here is a clear structure of two films in which an image is sandwiched between there. This particular piece of equipment does this die cutting to get these little things in what is known as a flatbed method. And the thickness of this base material is about 1/1000th of an inch. So, and with this equipment, there's a setup where it requires really a manual, almost a craft-like type of build-up to get this to cut in this way and not. And there might even be this was just a setup thing. There might even be a cut through on this somewhere. Okay. But with this thickness being 1/1000th of an inch, it's pretty critical. Now, we are using like a steel rule die type of thing that cuts through the top of that to the film, which is on a base where it moves along. And the base we used to use for that was this stuff right here. And you can see where I made some marks on there. We don't use this anymore, but when I originally worked for this company years ago, this was what we used. And when you're die cutting through something that is 1/1000th of an inch, if I need a little bit more cutting power, I'll put underneath of here and in some layers of stuff, I'll put a piece of tissue, which is 1/1000. So I really need to come in and get a little bit more to where manually by hand I'm manually massaging this to a tolerance of about 1/2 thou. And one of the things we used to do is we used to take one of these. Now this is actually a shaving type blade that I bought. I don't have any razors that use this particular blade format, but I bought some because I was testing a razor that did. And the reason I don't have any razors in this blade format is there's not a lot of guys that make these type of blades. Not that they'll ever stop being made. It's just you're kind of limited on your selection. But what we used to do back in the day was we would take this and we would take a razor blade and we would scrape on there. And you can see, I don't know if you could see, there's along in here, there's some inconsistency in the surface, which I don't even know if you could measure it, but it is enough to change what you need in that particular type of cutting. And you can see that right here where I had scraped this, and I did this off camera, okay? You can see how it's kind of burnished, but it's smooth and it almost gets to a polish with that. And flatblading resonated with me when I saw that kind of move on your face would leave that kind of smooth finish, unlike Whereas if I took this blade and I was going to attempt to level this and go like this, no matter what angle, I would have some tendency to dig in. As soon as I got to cutting, it would be very, very critical, which is kind of like what it is when we shave. Now, one of my concerns with this, now this is obviously the extreme, and I did check this with my little peanut test ahead of time, and this just no longer really goes in. It went in a little bit. Believe it or not, this is a shaving blade. This is a shaving blade, and I've sharpened straight razors more sharper than this, okay? But the tool that I borrowed that I used this on, I was pleasantly surprised. It was on loan to me. I was pleasantly surprised at the result that I got out of it. Now, for a comparison, okay, and all this is live on camera. This part is okay. This is one of those in the industrial, and you know, I don't know how much difference there is between the industrial and the shaving, because I don't shave with them. I probably, if I had a tool that used this and I was a fan of these things, I probably would have used one. I did take a double-edged industrial type blade and shave with it, and it's like there's no coatings on it, maybe other than like the machining oil. Okay, but you can shave with them. So here's for kind of like an illustration, and even that, it goes in a little bit. You get a little bit of a push cut. It was a little bit more pressure, I think, with this than it was with that shaving blade when it was new and undamaged. But my concern was, after doing the flat blading with a straight, my boker, that had really, really keen edge on it. I was able to bring that back with a strop and everything, and then ultimately, I think I put it on the stone, and just a couple of swipes brought it back really, really easy. The Zai razor, which is a Chinese thing, which has a soft steel, okay, was really, really easily damaged. I mean, it was like that edge was gone once I did that flat blading. So that was kind of my concern, and I thought, well, I'm going to try this. I like the result, and ultimately, I'm going to do some testing with my Tiers of Sard razors, because that steel is known to be very, very hard. I use like a molten lead hardening process, and you know, it's really, really tough stuff. And I would think that will be more likely to have an edge durable enough to handle that. Now, what I'm going to shave with and what I'm going to try, okay, this is the Focus R21 Evolution, okay, has a really nice blade holding mechanism and guarded corners and everything. This is a GSB on, I think this is on the third shave with this. And this one still goes in on my packing peanut test. It still goes in pretty easy. But since this was on third shave and I'm preparing to do a video, I wanted to have a backup plan, okay? My backup is my other R21, which this has a Vashkot in it, and I have never shaved with this particular side of this blade. The other half of this blade, I shaved with, I think that I used it in the other one, but I'll go to the balance of the blade in this one, and I wasn't really impressed with the Vashkot blade. And then I thought, well, I'm going to check this one too. I'll check a new one to see. So I'm using my test, and I go along, and this is like, you got to put a bit more pressure than I like to get this to go in. Let me see and it's almost kind of a rubbery sensation. And this is a brand new blade. Now, whether I'll get the call to shave this or not, I don't know. But usually when they, for me, a straight razor that passes this test, it's usually something that I like to shave with, okay? And an interesting thing was, and when I kind of came across this test, it was actually with this tool, okay? So I had a brand new Feather Super in here, Super Pro Super, and I wanted to see, it was what in terms of shaving into my face, I always felt like this is the sharpest thing. This is the king of the hill. Okay. Now they go downhill as you use them, like any sharp thing does. It wears down. This has, I think, 5 or 6 shaves on it, and in using my Essence razor, I can get it a little bit lower angle than this, and I decided I'm going to check this. And this is a Feather Pro Super that usually brand new. This would just go right in there, and this is showing signs where this is just not really. I mean, this would just the lightest touch and it would puncture right in there. So this maybe could go another, but based on this, this blade's going bye-byes in the blade bin. So okay, all that hot air to say, did that. I had done some prep work with my lather and my face, and I'm using the soap of the day is sheep soap, unscented. And unscented in sterling sheep means that they haven't put anything in there to overcome the stank of the soap, because this stuff does have an animalistic, you know, if you're offended. I just have not, all my test shaving I always do with this particular soap, because I think it's got the best performance of anything that I've used. So I do it, and I put up with the stink. And by the time you wash it off, it kind of goes away. It like doesn't hang around my nostrils. So we'll see how quick I can get this done here and get to the I forgot to point out, and I don't know if you noticed it early on, I had a pretty good bit of beard. Got a little lazy. Little lazy this week. I was like, tell people, yeah, shaving's my hobby, and then you walk around with all this hair on you looking like this. Sure, man, sure. This particular tool, I just can't really say enough good about this. It's inexpensive. It's a high performer. I really like this. I hate to tell you. I don't hate to tell you. Even the sharpest of straights don't really go through the hair quite like that. Straight razor guys don't like me for saying this, but I personally think that Shavettes are the cat's meow. I like my straights, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of stuff you got to go through. If you're gonna be a straight shaver, you're gonna have to learn to hone. That's all there is to it. I don't know. Some people are content to send them out. I never wanted to send them. Depend on that, because I sent razors out and I got them back and I was a little unhappy, and I don't like the whine. So just in case Nurse Dave is listening in, I might have said Shavette again, so please forgive me, Dave. I know it's a Shavette. But we here in Winsapania are not quite all that concerned about our grammar. Okay, that's really good. And now I'm going to do the against the grain pass, which would normally be the all in all, and then I'll have a little bit of stuff around here. That's interesting because the originator of flatblading, he has pretty much the same kind of hair remaining issues that I do in that area. A little slippery on the hands. Sheep soap. Did you see that little red spot there? Because the new heart medicine or the new blood thinner medicine they got me on, or because I didn't feel that. "16 minutes on the shave." There I am. Really nice, really nice. And set down in this area here where normally I would make, to catch some of this, normally I would make that another half pass. But what I want to do is I wanted to try. Now, I got a little bit of work to do with my technique on this technique, okay? And if you haven't gone to the Shaving Cadre, please do, and look for one of Barber Dave's videos where he shows how to do this, where he kind of is coming in and he's flat blading, you know, at a really steep angle this way. I am a little uncomfortable with that yet, okay? But what caught my eye was how he took the blade and he made a motion kind of like that in the opposite direction, a lot like the scraping that I showed you on that stuff from work. And I wanted to try that with a Shavette, see if I get that same smoothing type feel with this. And as Barber Dave says, this is an advanced technique, okay? And while that won't cut you quite as deep, okay, you can get hurt doing that. So let's hope I don't do that. I'm already bleeding once. Boy, that was almost a little sloppy there with going in, because going directly in with a Shavette is risky. So I'm gonna keep practicing on trying to go like this and then make a rotating. And this is something you can only do with an open blade. I don't know how with a safety razor of any type you would make that kind of a motion. And the result is very, very positive. I got some definite reduction. and no irritation from that at all. It feels very, very smooth, whereas doing that, another one of those against the grain in this area passes for me. And I haven't done any buffing with this yet, but it's a good technique, okay? And my thought was, if I wanted to do that, my thought about trying it with a Shavette was, if it does, and I will check this blade. I don't know if how well I'm going to get a read on it wet. Okay, I'll try and dry it off a little bit. Although you're not supposed to wipe GSB blades, because they are supposed to have coatings on there that you can wipe off. So my thought was, well, can I use a one and done Shavette blade? It's definitely not as efficient of a move, in my opinion, yet. I'll work on it some, but it's not as inefficient of a move as I'm getting with a straight razor when I do that. And if I wind up with any negative effects from doing it that many times, I'll certainly put that in my shave journal at the Shaving Cadre. So that's really good. It's not as inefficient of a cleanup move with that as it was with straight razors when I tried it, and maybe the substance of the blade, but I'm going to keep working on it. So that's the shave. It does feel good. I don't feel irritation. I probably wouldn't feel with that Shavette, I probably wouldn't feel irritation going against the grain there anyhow, quite as much as I would with a straight razor. So I'm going to check it with the album off camera, and I'm going to later finish up with the Duke, Sterling Duke. I'm going to have the Duke it out with the stank of the Sterling sheep. So my friends, you all have a good one and take care. Bye. I forgot something. The album was for the most part quiet. I forgot to do my little peanut test, and this really surprised me after doing that flat blading with a GSB blade in here that has 4 shaves on it. Okay, this is still passing my little test here with the peanut, and a brand new Vashkot in my other one of these was not passing at all. What I am going to do is my next shave, I am going to shave with that other unit with the Vashkot for just my own example. Anyhow, it was a great shave, and those of you that catch us in time and get to the Zoom call, the Shaving Cadre, it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so y'all take care. Bye.